Tom Hanks. From a broken childhood to the top of Hollywood. The year is 1956. Concord, California. A baby boy named Thomas Jeffrey Hanks enters the world. A difficult journey lies ahead of him. His mother is an ordinary woman working at a hospital. His father is a traveling cook moving from town to town. Little Tom doesn't know yet what tough trials life has prepared for him. Tom is only 5 years old. That morning, everything changes at home. Mom and Dad have decided to separate. The little boy can't fully understand what's happening. His world quietly falls apart. One of his siblings will stay with Mom. Tom and the other siblings will live with Dad. Nobody explains to the children why they're splitting up. Nobody tells them, "You're wonderful, you're valuable." Tom just feels lost. He's like a child falling through the cracks now. His father Amos works late nights at the restaurant. He doesn't come home before 11 p.m. Little Tom and his siblings are left alone in the dirty apartment. The stove is covered with burnt tomato soup stains. If you scraped it off, it would be like an archaeological dig, Tom will remember years later. They keep moving constantly. From one house to another. From one school to another. From one neighborhood to another. By the time Tom turns 10, he has lived in 10 different homes. He has attended 5 different schools. He has seen 3 different mother figures in his life. He has so many step-siblings that they now just call him number 8. His family has 16 children total. Tom is lost in this crowd. Nobody teaches Tom how to brush his teeth. Only what he saw in a film strip in 2nd grade. Try to eat an apple and that cleans your teeth. So Tom thinks if he eats an apple every week, his teeth are clean. He doesn't floss until after high school. Nobody teaches him about hygiene or taking care of himself. Tom and his siblings have to make their own dinner. Thank God they didn't have smoke detectors back then, he'll joke later. We would have set one off every 3rd day. They only know what time it is by what's on TV. These children are raising themselves. Tom carries a crushing feeling inside. Loneliness, abandonment, confusion. No one was really taking care of me, he'll confess years later. I kind of fell through the cracks. Every time they move, Tom leaves a piece of himself behind. Friends he'll never see again. Toys that get lost in the move. Memories that fade away. He has no control over his life. He's just a child being dragged from place to place. No stability. No permanence. No home. At school things aren't any better. Tom is unpopular with both students and teachers. I was a geek, a spaz, he'll remember. I was horribly, painfully, terribly shy. Yet there's something else inside him. A spark. During film strips at school, Tom yells out funny captions. People laugh. For a moment he feels seen. For a moment, the loneliness disappears. High school brings a revelation. Tom discovers theater. On stage he can be someone else. Someone confident. Someone loved. Someone who belongs. I had more fun than I could possibly imagine, he says. Theater becomes his escape from the dirty apartment. From the loneliness. From the confusion. Acting gives him what he calls the vocabulary of loneliness. Through scripts and characters he finally understands his own pain. He can express what he couldn't put into words before. This is it. This is what he wants to do with his life. At age 21, Tom makes a crucial decision. He marries his college sweetheart, Samantha Lewis. They have a son, Colin. Tom is now a father while still practically a child himself. I was just too young and insecure for marriage, he'll admit later. But fatherhood changes him. Having a kid at 21 was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. It gives him purpose. It keeps him from destructive paths. No drugs. No heavy drinking. No partying. He goes to bed by 10 p.m. every night. He wants to be the parent he never had. He wants to give his children the stability he never knew. But it's hard. Really hard. Tom is trying to build an acting career. At 22 he moves his family to New York. They're broke. He lands tiny roles in forgettable movies. He works on a sitcom called Bosom Buddies. He wears dresses and makeup every day for work. His marriage is struggling. He's struggling. The pressure is crushing. By 1984, Tom's marriage is over. He and Samantha separate. They divorce in 1987. Tom feels like he's failing. A broken marriage meant I was sentencing my own kids to the sort of feelings I had at their age. He's repeating the cycle. His children will now experience the pain of divorce just like he did. The guilt eats at him. But he can't keep pretending. He wasn't ready for marriage. He didn't know how to be a husband. How could he? Nobody taught him. Then something changes. On the set of Volunteers in 1985, Tom meets actress Rita Wilson. Something clicks immediately. I immediately felt comfortable, He remembers? I immediately felt like I was with people who were interested. Rita comes from a large, happy family. For the first time, Tom experiences what a loving family really looks like. She shows him warmth, stability, genuine connection. In 1988, Tom marries Rita. I think the right person can save you, he says. Rita saves him from the loneliness that has haunted him since childhood. I knew I would never feel that loneliness again. Finally, at age 32, Tom Hanks feels like he has a home. 1984 brings Tom's big break. A romantic comedy about a mermaid. Splash. Director Ron Howard takes a chance on him. The movie is a hit. Suddenly, Tom Hanks is a star. People recognize him on the street. Hollywood wants him. But Tom remembers where he came from. He remembers the dirty apartment, the loneliness, the moving from place to place. Success doesn't erase those memories. It just gives him the resources to understand them better. Tom starts going to therapy. 3 times a week. He needs to work through his childhood. You work through that until you figure out that, number 1, you have been an idiot. And number 2, you're no longer an idiot. You just go through dark times. The therapy helps. But so does his work. In 1988, Tom stars in Big. He plays a child trapped in an adult's body. The role hits close to home. Isn't that what he's been? A child who had to grow up too fast? The movie is a massive success. Tom receives his first Academy Award nomination. Then comes 1993. Philadelphia. Tom plays Andrew Beckett, a gay lawyer dying of AIDS. It's the most challenging role of his life. He loses weight. He studies the disease. He meets people living with AIDS. He puts his whole heart into it. During his acceptance speech at the Oscars, Tom does something brave. He reveals that his high school drama teacher and a former classmate were gay. He honors them publicly. In 1993, this takes courage. Tom Hanks wins the Academy Award for Best Actor. At 37 years old, he stands on that stage. The lonely kid from Concord has made it. But he's not done yet. The very next year, 1994, Tom stars in Forrest Gump. He plays a man with a low IQ who accidentally becomes part of major historical events. When I read the script for Gump, I saw it as one of those grand, hopeful movies. I got that from the movies 100 million times when I was a kid. I still do. Tom Hanks is giving others what movies gave him. Hope, escape, comfort. Forrest Gump becomes a cultural phenomenon. It grosses over $600 million worldwide. And Tom wins his second consecutive Oscar. Only the second actor ever to do so. Spencer Tracy was the first. Both were 37 when they won their first Oscar. Both were 38 when they won their second. Tom Hanks is now one of the greatest actors in Hollywood history. But success brings its own challenges. His daughter from his first marriage, Elizabeth Ann, struggles. Her mother, Samantha, battles mental illness. The divorce has left scars on the children. Tom carries guilt about this for years. He couldn't protect them from the pain he knew so well. The cycle he feared has repeated itself. But Tom doesn't give up. He stays in his children's lives. He shows them love. He tells them they're valuable. He does what his parents couldn't do for him. The only thing a parent can really do is say, "I love you. There's nothing you can do wrong. You cannot hurt my feelings. I hope you will forgive me on occasion. What do you need me to do?" Tom has learned this through pain, through therapy, through failing and trying again. He collects typewriters now. Hundreds of them. Started when he was 19. For the first time in his life, he could own something and keep it. As a child, every move meant losing things. But now he has control. Each typewriter represents stability, permanence, a home he can carry with him. The lonely boy who had nothing now has a collection worth hundreds of thousands. But more importantly, he has a family. Rita and Tom have 2 sons together. They've been married for over 35 years. Being with Rita made me feel that I'd never feel loneliness again. She saved him, he says. Not from poverty, not from failure, but from the crushing loneliness of his childhood. Tom continues to work. Saving Private Ryan, Cast Away, The Green Mile, Captain Phillips. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, where he plays Mr. Rogers. Another man who showed children the love they deserved. Tom receives the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016, the Kennedy Center Honor in 2014, the Golden Globe Cecil B. DeMille Award in 2020. He's one of America's most beloved actors. People trust him. They see themselves in him. Not because he's perfect, but because he's human. He's known pain. He's known failure. He's known loneliness. And he's turned it all into empathy. into kindness, into characters that make people feel less alone. Tom Hanks is often called America's dad. The irony isn't lost on him. The boy whose father worked late every night. The boy who fell through the cracks. The boy nobody told, "You're wonderful." That boy became the father figure to millions. He gives audiences what he needed as a child: comfort, hope, the feeling that everything will be okay. "I had more fun than I could possibly imagine," he once said about his difficult childhood. This is the key to understanding Tom Hanks. He chose optimism over bitterness. He chose to laugh instead of cry. He chose to see the good even when surrounded by chaos. This wasn't denial. It was survival. It was wisdom. It was strength. Today, Tom Hanks is 68 years old. He still acts. He still collects typewriters. He still goes home to Rita every night. He's still close with his children despite the difficulties. He's built the stable life he never had. The home he always wanted. The family he deserved. When people ask about his childhood, Tom doesn't complain. He doesn't blame his parents. "My own life has not been as smooth as my career," he admits. But he understands now. His parents were just trying to survive. They were hurt kids themselves. "The love that existed between my parents was two hurt kids trying to dig out of a well together." Tom broke the cycle. He dug himself out of that well. And then he reached back to help others. Through his movies, through his kindness, through his example. The lonely boy from Concord became Tom Hanks. Not despite his trauma, but because of how he chose to respond to it. He turned pain into purpose, loneliness into connection, chaos into stability, a broken childhood into a beautiful life. This is the story of Tom Hanks, a story of resilience, of hope, of the power of choosing to be better than your circumstances, of understanding that the past shapes you but doesn't have to define you. Tom Hanks proves that even when you fall through the cracks as a child, you can still climb to the very top. Not by forgetting where you came from, but by remembering. And using that memory to become someone who makes sure others don't feel as alone as you once did. That's the real success. Not the Oscars, not the fame, not the money, but the ability to turn your deepest wounds into your greatest gifts. To give the world what you never had. Love, stability, hope. That's Tom Hanks. From a broken childhood to the top of Hollywood. From loneliness to love. From falling through the cracks to lifting others up. His story reminds us that our past doesn't determine our future. Our response to our past does. And Tom Hanks chose love.